You cannot even show me one Bitcoin?
Gentlemen, this is...
What's up everyone, it's Adam from FWCI and this is my Army of the Dead pitch meeting reaction and movie review. So I'm going to do the reaction to the pitch meeting first, then after that hang around for the movie review because I got a lot of stuff to say about this. Now, in all honesty, I did record all of this before and I just wasn't happy with how the review turned out. So I'm going to flash back and show you the pitch meeting reaction in all of its first time viewing glory and then come back to this timeline and... funny I should use the word timeline, and we'll do a bit of a review of the movie. So, let's get into it.
So, you have a zombie movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. And you've never seen zombies like this before.
How's that?
Yeah.
Mostly out of focus.
What?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do practically every shot with super shallow depth of field and really blurry backgrounds.
Sounds a little distracting.
It might be. So anyway, there's gonna be
Didn't
the
even
zombie
notice.
outbreak in Vegas, right? So the government basically walls up the city to contain the spread.
Smart.
And they declare it's no longer part of America.
Well, why was that necessary?
Unclear. So eventually the
Good point.
government decides to nuke the city to kill all the zombies.
Okay.
But this casino owner, Tanaka, has $200 million in a vault under his casino, so he approaches this former mercenary, Scott Ward.
Oh, and he tells him to assemble a team? He does.
So Scott needs some teammates. He needs a safe cracker, obviously.
I thought it was Tanaka's vault. Can't he give them the code?
No.
Okay.
And they also need a helicopter pilot.
Oh, they can fly in. That'll...
Hey, with that being said, Tanaka had already been reimbursed for the money, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be contacting whoever it is to say, hey, I need to access that vault that's in that locked off place that I've already been paid back for. I don't know. I'm okay with that.
That'll be helpful. No, see, the government doesn't actually allow people to fly into Vegas. It's restricted airspace.
But they can fly out?
Yeah, sure, I don't care. So Tanaka also adds his own head of security,
fine.
Martin, to the team, and this guy's real suspicious.
Oh, sounds suspicious.
He is. So they head to Vegas, and Scott's estranged daughter, Kate, forces herself into the movie because she has a friend that's inside the city.
Sure, she may as well be in the movie.
Oh, she will be, and she's
Yeah,
gonna
she
get
will.
everybody killed.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
So they head into the quarantine
Yeah.
zone and they see a zombie queen and a zombie tiger, both of which were turned by an alpha zombie.
Oh, biting tigers is tight.
Then they're gonna stumble upon a bunch of zombies that are hibernating.
Oh, zombies hibernate.
Some of them do, sir, because as I was writing this movie, I was like, hey, what if zombies did everything?
Interesting.
Yeah, we're talking strong zombies, fast zombies, martial arts zombies, dumb zombies.
Okay.
Yep.
Robot zombies.
What?
Yeah, a couple of the zombies will be robots with glowing blue eyes. It's gonna look very cool.
What's going on there?
It's gonna look very cool. They're robot zombies.
Yeah.
Why are some of the zombies robots?
It's gonna look great.
okay.
Oh, we're also gonna mention that a bunch of these zombies got dried out in the sun, but they come back to life when it rains.
Oh, a very cool
That's awesome.
concept. I bet that's gonna come into play later. It won't. Oh.
And we're gonna have this guy Vandero keep bringing up this saw that he loves to use.
Oh, probably gonna be a crazy scene of him using that later, huh? Ah, there won't be. No. All right.
Yeah, it's like the famous Chekhov's gun writing advice, right? If in the first act you show a gun on the wall, then in the second act, just kinda have a good time.
That's not how that goes.
Anyway, so eventually this girl Chambers tells Martin, like, hey, I know you're up to something, dude.
Right.
So then Martin locks her in a room with some zombies, but she manages to jump
She's a
through a
beast.
window near the group.
Oh, so they rescue her?
No, nobody does anything to help her, despite her being just a few feet away from them. They just watch her get killed.
But she must yell something about
Yeah.
Martin before getting killed.
she doesn't know, but her friend Mikey accuses Martin.
All right, valid point. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they didn't help that chick and why she didn't yell out something about Martin. Both very valid points.
And he's like, you clearly had something to do with this.
Does Mikey do anything about it?
He doesn't know. They're not gonna talk about it again.
Was everybody in the group just not suspicious of Martin or something?
No, they definitely were. Some of them even discussed how it might be best if this guy died.
So, okay.
And so eventually this guy is gonna cut the head off of the queen zombie.
Oh, why does he do that?
Well, he reveals that this entire mission was actually about getting this zombie head. His boss doesn't actually care about the money. This is worth more.
Why the
Why didn't
queen?
Tanaka just hire people to do that? Why plan a fake heist?
So the movie can happen.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because who the fuck, what kind of scumbag is going to be like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll go get you the head of a zombie and then bring it out after these things have already taken over an entire city. I just think people wouldn't have been that okay being propositioned with get a zombie head for me.
So I guess this guy takes off with the head. No, he goes back to the heist, even though they were standing right next to where they entered the quarantine zone.
Oh, interesting choice.
So then the safecracker guy and Vanderho try to open the safe, right?
Right.
But this thing has like pressure-activated booby traps, so they can't just walk up to it.
So what do?
Well, they start trying to trick a zombie into activating the traps, but it's hard to do because zombies are dumb and they keep turning towards them.
Can't they just throw a dead zombie or a dead zombie limb?
Probably, but they're not gonna do that. Instead, they're gonna microwave a zombie hand and use that to trick a zombie into going to eat it.
What do you mean?
Well, the idea is that zombies are attracted to warm flesh.
Doesn't that mean that all the zombies outside in the scorching hot Las Vegas sun would constantly be trying to eat each other?
I don't know. Fair enough. So anyway, eventually they get the safe open and there's $200 million in $100 bills, just stacks of cash.
Oh, I feel like that probably weighs thousands of pounds.
Yeah, probably.
So how do they plan on getting literal tons of cash and themselves on a single helicopter out of the city in one shot?
Well, they brought backpacks.
That'll do it.
And then they also find out that the nuke has been pushed forward by a day, so they have like an hour to get out of the city.
Oh no.
So then this girl Maria decides that this is a good time to stop everything and talk to Scott about her feelings.
Oh, can't that wait 45 minutes?
Yeah, well, she's actually about to die, so we kind of have to make people care about the death scene that's about to happen.
Maybe you should set that up before this scene.
Maybe, but I'm not gonna.
Well, okay then.
And Scott's daughter, she takes off.
What? Why? A bomb is about to level the city.
Well, she wants to go save her friend in a super far away building.
Okay, even if she finds her friend and even if her friend is alive, what's the plan to get out of the city without the helicopter?
Unclear.
Huh.
So then Scott and the pilot take off in the helicopter across the city to try and rescue her and her friend, who she somehow did manage to find.
Okay.
And the alpha zombie, he's watching them fly away from the helipad and he's very angry. He wants to kill them very much.
Well, it's gonna be hard for him to catch up with a helicopter.
Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, he has a zombie horse.
So he gets down from the top of a building onto a horse across the city and up another building in the same time it took them to fly a helicopter.
He does, yeah. So then they fly away again, but the Alpha jumps on board and the nuclear bomb explodes.
Oh, wow.
And Scott manages to kill the Alpha, but then the helicopter crashes and pretty much everyone dies except Kate.
But what about her friend she was trying to save, the one whose rescue drove the entire last part of the movie?
Oh, unclear. We're not even gonna show her.
Oh, that's a little frustrating.
So then after the blast, that guy Vandero gets out of the safe, which that safecracker guy had pushed him into to save him.
Okay.
And he just kind of walks out of the burning city and through the desert.
What about Fallout?
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good game, I guess. Not really relevant here.
That's not.
And so he gets on a plane and he realizes he's been bitten.
What? How long is it taking him to turn?
I know, right? Oh, and also we're gonna play that song Zombie from the Cranberries.
Ooh, wasn't that song written in response to a tragedy where some children were killed?
Well, that's a good point, but counterpoint, it has the word zombie in it.
Well, yeah, no, that is a good point too.
And so that's about it. What do you think?
Oh, it sounds like mindless zombie fun. I'm just really stuck on that robot thing. What's going on there? We're really not gonna explain that?
Well, see, here's the thing. I was thinking maybe we could expand on that in another project, maybe several projects.
Cinematic universe?
Cinematic universe, sir.
Oh man, you said the magic words. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Yes, now we're back to present day. So I'm going to do a bit of a review. I usually break this into 3 sections: presentation, characters, and plot. Let's jump straight into it because there's a lot to get to. So presentation was all pretty straightforward. I mean, this movie looks great. That's one of Zack Snyder's strengths, is just making things look nice. The colors, everything just kind of blends good. It has a vibe, it has a feel, and this movie was very unique in that aspect, and it was very, it was consistent, but it was a lot of variety at the same time. We had the daytime outside and then the dark scenes with the zombies and all that kind of thing. So the gore at time could be a little bit schlocky, but I think that was kind of the identity of this movie. Like there was just a hint of schlock, whether it was like a bit of gratuitous CGI or the practical effects that were very clearly practical effects, like the head and the neck of the queen zombie lady. The presentation of this film has a big element of cinema to it, and you'll learn more about why I think this is an important fact later on in the plot discussion. So let's talk about the characters. We had Scott Ward, played by Dave Bautista. He was the protagonist of this movie, basically. I feel like Bautista's niche is now that he's the, like, you know, late 50s, retired cop, soldier, agent, or whatever, and he has a very fractured relationship with his daughter. That seems to be the Dave Bautista character that he does, and he plays it really well, so I can see why people want him to do it. But he was an entertaining protagonist in this movie, and I'm confident that we're going to see this character again in the future. We had the character of Kate Ward, so Scott's daughter, played by Ella Purnell. Was she the antagonist in this movie? I feel like that's what Kate's character was. She was definitely the worst part of the movie, just endlessly frustrating, and to no fault of the actress at all. I actually thought she was really good and she did a great job playing this character. But the character was just the worst. I did, however, get a little bit of sick pleasure watching her forced to blow her dad's brains out before he turns into a zombie, after all the history that we went through with her and her dad in the movie and just how unlikable she was. The character of Maria Cruz, played by Ana de la Requera. She didn't do a great deal for me. There's nothing wrong with the performance or even the character, but she was kind of the love interest, I guess, for Scott, and I just wasn't really invested in that storyline. But she does hold the record for the gnarliest death scene in the entire movie. Marianne Peters, played by Tig Notaro. She was a fun character. Apparently was supposed to be played by Chris D'Elia originally, but she was enjoyable, questionable, and ultimately a great addition to the movie. Ludwig Dieter, played by Matthias Schweighofer, the star of the future prequel Army of the Thieves. This was a really fun character to have in the movie, especially since we were like surrounded by mercenaries and stuff like that throughout most of this. But his relationship with Vanderhoof progressed really fast, and I'm glad we got to see him earn Vanderhoof's friendship, and we got to see that friendship breathe a little bit as the later section of the movie went on. The character of Lily, played by Nora Arnezetta, I think this role could have been played by Rhea Ripley, the Australian WWE wrestler. I honestly think with the Aussie accent and that apocalyptic Black Widow-esque kind of look, she could have been something really special in this franchise. But Nora Arnezetta did a great job in this role. I hope we find out more about the Lily character in future installments in the Army of the Dead universe. Her demise and her final act of defiance were probably one of the best scenes in the movie. The character of Martin, played by Garrett Dillahunt, he was just the atypical sleazy undercover soldier / contractor. The actor was really well cast and he played the role great. There's a lot of weird continuity issues around this character specifically, but I'll talk about why the continuity stuff might be a little bit weird later on in the plot breakdown, but I'm wondering if the fact that this character experienced a lot of continuity problems, and what I mean by this is, like, for example, I think he's on the roof at one point and says we need to get to the roof of the helicopter, and the next thing you know he's down on the ground. Or I think he's over near where they enter the area, cuts off the head of the zombie, and then doesn't leave. He goes back in to finish the mission. Like, there's just some weird stuff going on with him. But I'm wondering if there's a deliberate explanation for this, or if this was just a character whose story could kind of just, yeah, whatever, yeah, but we'll just do it like that anyway, kind of thing. Chambers and Guzman, played by Samantha Wynn and Raul Castillo, they were this like bizarre, fun social media influencer zombie murdering duo. They were pretty stereotypical, but they fit in great with this universe and the story that they're telling in the Army of the Dead movie. Chambers, who was played by Samantha Wynn, had one of the most awesome scenes in the movie where she's just a one-woman wrecking crew. I'm much more interested in finding out more about Chambers than Guzman in the future projects. Burt Cummings, played by Theo Rossi, the 20 grand man. Burt the Rapist Cummings. I actually really liked this character for how unbelievably sleazy, gross, misogynistic, dim-witted, stupid that this guy is. I thought this was just played so well. He was such a great villain, such a hateable character. 10 out of 10 for Snyder and for Theo Rossi for bringing this scumbag character to life. And last but not least, Vanderhoof, played by Omari Hardwick, probably the most important character in this entire movie, to be honest. We learned early on that Vanderhoof has a master's degree in philosophy. He's obviously a trained mercenary type dude as well. He's in incredible physical shape. He will be the future threat in this film universe. So obviously at the end he found out that he was bitten and he's the last surviving zombie now that can, bring the next, generation of zombies to life. But in this movie, his relationship with Dieter was awesome, and as the only survivor of the heist, except for Kate and maybe Geeta, we don't know what happened to her, presumably he's gonna be the new alpha of the zombie race. Everything about this character was an absolute win in my opinion. I'm so keen to see what happens with him because you've got so much with him with his intelligence and his physical prowess. Like, how strong of a zombie is he going to be? How long did he hold off that infection? But we're going to get into the plot breakdown now, and yeah, there's a bit to get through, so let's jump in. The plot was a bit of a cliche at times. I mean, it was a zombie heist movie. Like, there are going to be elements of that you're going to be like, okay, now we're up to the part where this happens. But the world building was great. I love the fact that the mobster who hires them to do this job has already been reimbursed by his insurer for the money in the vault, and this is just an act of straight up greed and excess. But then we obviously learned that the real reason that they're going in is to get a head of a zombie so they can try and figure out a way to control the race, which possibly for a second time. We'll get to timeline stuff in a second. And yeah, I've got some theories at the end of this as well that I'm going to share. We got the quintessential gathering of the team and the introduction of all our players, which I appreciate that level of introduction in these kind of team up movies. Like, be nice and clear about who people are and where they come from so I can follow the story easily without needing to, you know, follow subtle little words. And we find out that the zombies are a lot more intelligent and organized, and they have rules and a society with different classes and lifestyles. I like the twist that they gave the zombie genre here, because, you know, who says zombies need to be the same in every movie? I mean, this movie gives us hibernating zombies, dried up zombies that come to life when it rains, which would be absolutely terrifying. And maybe the weirdest of all, the zombie pregnancy aspect to it. So, zombies that breed tells me that they're not undead beings. This is a different form of being that we're dealing with. So the plot is they have to break into this vault and steal some money for this mobster and then get out of Las Vegas before a nuclear bomb gets dropped on it to wipe out the zombies. And the team loses members along the way, which was cool. It did make it seem like anybody could die at any time. I mean, see Maria Cruz's death scene for that. I like the fact that there was money in the vault when they actually got there. It wasn't a big, you know, oh, we did this for nothing. And I like the fact that they still got away with basically none of that money, except for the wad that Batista chucked in his jacket. So it still progresses, like I say, like your average, you know, heist movie with zombies. They get in, they get out, and, you know, there's antics along the way. So after some fun battles and fight scenes, Scott manages to blow the alpha zombie's head off in the helicopter, carrying Scott, Kate, Geeta, the reason that Kate tagged along on the mission, which a very weird character that was very important to the plot, and we did not get to know much about her at all, so maybe more about Geeta in the future. But it was those three and Peters in the helicopter which crash lands, and we learn that Peters is killed, that Ward is bit. So we get that final moment between Ward and Kate where it was bittersweet. I mean, it felt nice to see Kate go through something painful after all the absolute insanity that she caused during the heist. But yeah, as I mentioned, no sign of Geeta after the crash, so I'm not sure where we go with that. Hopefully we find out more about her in the prequels. Now, there was a lot of references and things mentioned that never really paid off in this movie. And I suspect that's either because Snyder wants to set things up and then let them happen from like nowhere in future movies, or we might have some timeline meddling. But for example, we hear about the dried up zombies that come alive in the rain. Never pays off. Vanderhoe goes on a very specific rant about time loops. Never pays off. We literally see a bunch of corpses dressed like Scott, Maria, and Peters. Never pays off. We see a goddamn zombie robot getting the flesh blown off its metal skull. Not only did it never get a payoff, but it didn't even get acknowledged during the movie, which I love the fact that they would put that in there just to mess with the viewer's mind, like, was that a robot one? Like, what the hell? And yes, it was a robot. We see 2 UFOs in the sky at the very start of the movie. Never pays off. And that's what makes me so keen about this movie. I mean, they've hinted and suggested at so many wildly non-zombie related plot points and genres that could be a part of this universe, and it just fills me with excitement to find out what direction this story is going to take. Like, this overall universe that Zack Snyder's building, like, where is it going to end? But I honestly think that if this goes into a world of new species of human and alien intervention and cyborgs and time loops and espionage and hopefully a little bit more heart with the characters, we get to fall in love with them over time. If they can get all that right, we might have a new entrant into the arena of the big-time superhero universe movies. In 10 years, we might have the MCU, the DCEU, and the AOTDU all competing for regular projects and being released, all linked in their own winding storylines being told over years and years through multiple movies. But if they want to stretch their wings to that degree where Zack Snyder can start bringing in people with superpowers or aliens or androids or magic or mind control. Who knows where this could end? Like, this could really be the tip of a huge iceberg. But I'm going to finish this review with my 3 theories that I hope to see in this universe. So these are my theories. I haven't looked these up anywhere. This is just what I've kind of thought up off the top of my head. Theory number 1, Vanderho will be an even more potent and cunning alpha because of his physical prowess and, more importantly, his level of intelligence. The philosophy master's degree is very intriguing because what does a barely human creature with a thirst for human blood do with philosophical tendencies in his brain? The last alpha was a soldier, and we saw him amass an army that was very militant with how they lived and fought. What will Vanderho be like after he turns? Will he brainwash his brethren? Will he attempt civility in some kind of, advanced level? I can't wait to see zombie Vanderho. Theory number 2, was Martin doing the right thing? This one's kind of out there, but bear with me on this. Martin was talking about learning to study and control the zombies, and that's being the ultimate WMD, because, and this is where it becomes my theory, is this a case where in his timeline, where he's from, zombies have control over the whole Earth? He seems to be a little bit out of place in this group, like he just kind of shows up, like obviously they set this up that he's representing this mobster or the government or whatever, but there's some kind of disconnect between him and the rest of the group. And maybe that's because he's a time jumper. Maybe he's trying to retroactively learn how to defeat the zombies while humanity still has control of the Earth. So that way they won't be overwhelmed by this race of, zombie creatures in the future. So who knows? Maybe we're going to go back and find out that Martin was actually there and there's some reason why he couldn't tell people, hey, I'm from the future or whatever. Maybe there's more to that story than meets the eye. And the final theory is aliens. Now, this is not so much a theory. We saw UFOs. We know the original Alpha was being transported from Area 51. They show us that. So there's definitely going to be some kind of alien influence here. But what if the aliens have assumed the look and appearance of zombies so that humans are afraid of them? Maybe the aliens have this life form that even just visually is so beyond human comprehension that we just wouldn't even be able to register what was happening. So they've studied us, they find, okay, what makes these people scared? What will repel them from wanting to be in the same vicinity as us? And they came up with zombies. That could be why we've got these super advanced android robot zombies that we saw, because what's the deal with that technology? That's way more advanced than anything on Earth. And this movie hasn't really established any kind of, technological, leaping forward or anything like that. Why would they do this? And is this basically the aliens using Las Vegas as a breeding ground to breed more aliens? Like, are they able to convert someone from being human into being their race? Or are they able to just conceive like the Alpha did with his bride? He had the little baby zombie alien looking thing in his hand. So is Las Vegas, or was Las Vegas, just an alien orgy of breeding, just trying to increase numbers, and that's why they just plopped it on Earth and they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll make them look like zombies to the Earthlings so that they don't want to go anywhere near there. So that's my wild, crazy theory about aliens in the Army of the Dead universe. I know we'll definitely see them. I don't know if they're going to end up, pretending to look like zombies just to freak people out, but hey man, the original Alpha came from Area 51, so who knows what's going on. But thank you for joining me for this review and the pitch meeting reaction from earlier. Really appreciate the support. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I like to do a pitch meeting reaction and then a movie review if it's something that I've only just watched or if it's something new. So if you like pitch meetings, hopefully you like my review. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.